thank you for subscribing to Podcast One Premium.
It's not the best one. It's not the great one. You're speaking with the juiciest one.
Arrival of either Samoa Joe or Kurt Angle.
What's poppin'?
Just interrupt again.
You shouldn't be asking about Samoa Joe. You shouldn't be asking about Kurt Angle. What you should be asking is, are we going to burn this flag down or not? And yes, we are.
Step back. Welcome to the LEX Channel 5150 para todos Latinos. And right here, we got a legend from Lucha Libre. I'm talking about Kato. Yo, Kay, I see an American flag, son. What you gonna do with this?
Tonight, we're going to burn this down. Red, white, and blue's going to be straight up gray ashes, and there ain't nothing nobody can do about it. Petey Williams, the only thing you demonstrated to us is you have no sack. You're next on our hit list. AMW, you two hoes. We've never liked you, and we never have. We wrestle when we want to. We maim if we have to. You two, it's personal now. And you know what, James Storm? Next time you take off your shirt on national TV, I suggest you invest in a sports bra. Órale, arriba la raza. Pay-per-view event. You're going to get your money's worth. We're going to burn this flag down to the floor.
Oh, damn.
And Christy, you should represent Latinos and wear this and learn to be proud.
Oh, yeah. This is the LEX 5150. Beware of the channel. Live la raza. Ooh, mommy. Pack up, baby.
Our Genesis pay-per-view from the music. The special referee. Let's hear the big announcement for BG about the future of the crew.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the TNA officials for letting us come out here and air out some dirty laundry.
One of the public
Hopefully, we'll get a little stench out of the air with it. As much as I love you, and as much as I love you, I love him too.
What's out in the open now?
Now, these people can do all that bull crap they want to, but you look in my eyes, and you know that my love is for real, that you are my family, but he is my family too.
Wow.
Truth?
Whoa. 1 minute. You have not peeped his MO, his stilo. He always latches on to somebody to build himself up. He used to be Honky Tonk's valet in DX, who was the real star. And on top of that, he almost married some cat called Palumbo.
You know what?
There's a history lesson from K-Dog.
Orgullosamente Latino hasta la muerte y después. Worldwide Latino pride, the ambassadors of violence. LAX, K-Dog, the notorious 187 homicide.
What up, though? It's your boy KG, Kevin Gill, behind the boards, welcoming you back to Keepin' It 100 with Konnan. Maintaining and flying high as the flagship show on the Jericho Network. Take that, Killing the Town, because we're owning it on Podcast One. This week, Dave, Gin and Juice, and Molly Meltzer returns to break it down on damn near every aspect of this wrestling business. The Juice says so, and the Juice makes so. Juventud Guerrera is back with an all-new and juicy for all. Disco Inferno responds to comments made this week by Cyrus on Killing the Town. The Hurricane Shane Helms is back dissecting UFC on an all-new Highway to Helms segment. We break it down on some politics, and we have a little fun as well. So without any further ado, let's throw it on over to the master of the verbal gems. It's Konnan.
All right, welcome to episode 22 of Keepin' It 100 with myself, Konnan, DI, KG. What up?
What's going on, man? 22. It's my it's kind of like my favorite number, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. What up, though, to the whole Keepin' It 100 nation?
All right, right off the bat, you know we really appreciate you listening to this show every week. So we've created a new automated email system to make sure you never miss a single episode. All you got to do is go to podcast1.com/100 and sign up. Then we'll take care of letting you know exactly when a new show is out and what it's all about. So check it out at podcast1.com/100. Wanted to tell you about the Tijuana show, which you guys haven't seen yet, correct?
No,
I just watched a few clips.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be watching it with a very critical eye.
tremendous. And you guys it's still streaming, so you can check it out at tptlive.com or download the app at your Apple Store or Android. Correct, KG?
Yeah, and just search for TPT, like Tom, Potato Tom. You know what I mean? TPT Live. Search for that in the App Store for Apple or Android, and you can get the app.
You can go. Is this what you say? It's iTunes?
The app that put out the show, you could watch the show online, or you could watch it through the TPT Live app, which is downloadable.
Okay, that's the app. Okay, cool.
It's not podcasting though; it's like a broadcast.
Right.
Right.
Cool.
So, anyways, just wanted to tell you about the show real quick. Anything that stick out to you from watching the show, KG, good or bad, or you didn't see enough of it?
I just checked out two things. One, I just put it on just to have it accessible and everything, and I just looked at the capacity of the house. Like, I was blown away by how many thousands of people were just packed into this arena. You know what I mean?
Hey, fuck, that Conan's a miserable son of a bitch. I'll never work for that guy again. He's from WCW.
You know, he got the book in Tijuana.
Oh, hell, I heard you were a hell of a house. You guys' number?
Tremendous. So,
congratulations on the house. Congratulations on the house.
Yeah.
And the other thing real quick, Conan, was that made an impression on me was how loud the crowd was. The crowd was reacting to stuff so big. And I watched a little bit of the first match, too, and just the way they would react to the bumps and the spots in that. And then compared to when Ray and Jeff came out, it was like, holy mackerel, man.
And, that all goes back to when you always hear how wrestlers say that, the fans are much hotter in Mexico and how they're much more appreciative. It's because, like we've said before, they still kind of want to believe, and they get more into it than we do over here. And so you have like a different type of heat. And I think one of the most, especially like when Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio came out, bro, it just looked like like rock stars at a concert. You know how they'll dim down the lights and all you see is photos flashing, bah, 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 bah. And just a whole different type of energy just fills up the auditorium. And Hardy got that rock star response, and so did Ray, of course. But one of the things that really made me happy is that night there was a rainstorm, and a block away, Los Cholos de Tijuana, which was the number one team in soccer, was in the playoffs. At the same time, and they had 30,000 people, and we were still able to draw that house. So it just goes back to listening to the people, knowing what they want, and giving them what they want. It's as simple as that. Not fighting, not trying to outthink them, not trying to play stupid politics. But anyways, one of the things that you'll see when you watch this is, in Mexico, they have that tradition that if they really like a match, they'll throw money into the ring. They did that in the second match, and they did that in the fourth match. There's actually like a real funny dance spot there with Jack Evans, Willie Mack, Mascarita Dorada, who was Torito in WWE, and he was with his bass called Demos, which they do some incredible things. And also the other guy was Bestia.
So they were throwing money into the ring after the match?
Right.
Oh, that's kind of like a different vibe from when you wrestled in WCW, because I remember a lot of fans were asking for their money back after you would wrestle.
All right. You know what? Then after that, we had a great girls match. Keita, who I've been telling is the next big, female star out of Mexico. She went against Sexy Star. And the great thing about that is you can't take a night off with Keita because she's going to bring it. And that match was really, really good. Jack Evans was a surprise wrestler. He quit AAA because they were punishing him. They took him off the Japan tour. They took him off TV. One of the things he was telling me, he was really amazed at how much work there is in the indies. And like I told him, right now you don't need TV. Your work rate, your professionalism is what recommends you, not TV. It's a much smarter, more demanding fan base. Teddy was on time.
What?
But Mr. Money is banned from the Tijuana dressing room. Okay.
Why is that?
Okay. First of all, I walked in, of course, with an entourage.
But just for our listeners that don't know who Mr. Money is, explain.
Mr. Money is his money-making cat. Yeah, he brings them to all the shows with him. He brings them everywhere with him as a what do they call those pets that console you or whatever?
Like an emotional support animal.
Yeah, like an emotional support animal. He also uses him as part of his act. He tried to convince me the whole night if it would be possible, and I have seen video of this, if it would be possible to let Mr. Money in the corner just chill in a turnbuckle the whole night. And there was a part of me that said, that's pretty weird and kind of funny and just different. But I don't even want to risk the chance of that cat jumping into the audience and shit going down. So I said, no, that cannot happen. But anyways, they went into the dressing room and they took over the girls' dressing room. And immediately you could smell that, like when a male cat, they'll mark their territory. Yes. And it's like a strong, penetrating, putrid, tremendous word for a Latino, smell just permeates the whole dressing room. I went in and I go, bro, you cannot have this cat in this dressing room. So he's starting to put some deodorizer in the air. And bro, that's like if you got straight stank and instead of showering, you just put on perfume. Come on, man. Bro, the funk was so thick and dense that when I came out of the girls' dressing room, you could see that. Remember Pigpen, how he had that visual cloud of funk around him? And I went outside to look at the match, and people were looking at me like, Jesus Christ, take a shower. And I was like, oh. So I had to go out, get blazed, and have the cannabis, essence mask the cat urine stench. Oh my God.
Wait a minute, that was your solution to get rid of the urine smell?
On himself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, mask it. That's
okay,
bro. Oh man, it was that bro. You have that stench in that dressing room was brutal. Bob Evans, Great Khali, or the Great Shearer guy from TNA. Bad. It was bad.
What do you think this guy's going to? Now, if you tell Teddy, "Hey, I got to book him for you," but Mr. Money is banned. Is that like a deal breaker, or what? I mean,
well, it's not a deal breaker. He'll end up leaving him in the car, and his car's gonna smell like urine. And here's the thing about Mr. Bro. Did I ever tell you the time that I was? No, I don't think I told you. When I was in a WrestleMania, I got super faded, bro. And he brought me into his car, and he says, "I'll drive you back to the hotel." And I leaned back. And when I leaned back, one cat ran across my face, another one ran across my chest, and another one ran across the dashboard. Oh. I thought they were rats or something. I was like, what the hell's going on in here? And it was full of cats, bro.
He's like hoarding.
It was like a brand new Jaguar. Huh?
He's hoarding cats on the road.
Yeah. It's so
weird, right?
Yeah. No, he just brings them with him. And so...
And then think about it, sneaking them into hotel rooms and everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, he had a kitty litter in there. I go, bro, what are you doing? So I told him, Mr. Money's banned. Sorry, boom.
Can we tweet that?
Yes.
Tweet that to Ryan Satin.
Or just basically ask our listeners, what do you think about the banning of Mr. Money from the locker room in Tijuana?
Exclusive.
Fair
or unfair?
Bro, I wanted to tell you something real quick yesterday from Raw. Did you guys see it or no?
I read it. Okay.
Just two things I wanted to say real quick. First of all, I don't know if you read this. I loved when Foley was cutting the promo and his tooth came flying out. Did you see that?
I heard about that.
Okay. And I would also like to say his over-the-top promos are getting super JoJo. He does it every week now, just about. Also, and I just want to give some free advice to all WWE champions. If you are the champion and you defend the belt in your hometown, just say you got a concussion or something, because you're probably going to lose it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, right?
Right.
But why do they do that? What's the rule that WWE has that if you go to one of the wrestlers' hometowns, you have to be buried?
Right. It's almost like a long rib that's really gone too far. You know what I'm saying?
They've remained very consistent with it.
Yeah.
I remember they had JR in Oklahoma one time. They buried him, so for no reason whatsoever.
Other
than because we're wrestling we're in your town.
A lot of your family and friends are going to be here.
I have to embarrass you in front of your hometown
We want to make you look bad and take away some of the rub you get from being part of this.
And you're amped because you're in your hometown and everybody wants to go. So you're getting tickets for everybody and they show up. Bro, I remember when people would go see Rey Mysterio in San Diego and, half the place was wearing masks or shirts or signs. And he'd go out there and Khali beat him. Or he'd go out there and he'd get squashed. Or, bro, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Are you not watching all the merchandise these people are wearing and who they came to see?
Yeah. This is where killing the town comes from. You bury the hometown guy. It's like, who's going to come back? Like, who's going to come back to see this guy again?
Right.
Like, every time you come in, it's like if you come see your team play,
right.
And like if the
they
WWE
always
was
lose or
sports,
get destroyed. Right.
If they were booking sports, the road team would win 56-0 every game.
Plus, less people are going to buy shirts at the end of the night.
If you said I want to support what's that goofy name they gave the Vegas team, the Night Thrashers or something, Golden Knights or
is it the Golden Knights or the Golden Knights? Yeah,
that's
terrible.
Terrible name, right?
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
So let's say you go to support them. Say you go to support them, and like the first 10 games they lose 10-0 each game. You're not going to go back.
No. Why would you? It's a bad product. It's like Jesus.
Right. Bro, let me tell you something funny. Did you see TNA?
No.
Did you KG?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you see the parts from the Hardy compound?
No, I want to see that though. I have it on my TiVo.
I've seen some of the clips.
Right.
Where Hardy has the amnesia and stuff and everything, and he's trying to get his memory back and everything. They were pretty.
Now, this one you'll like. This is right up your alley. So they have this thing where Vanguard's hanging out with Senor Benjamin, okay? Benjamin's reading a Playboy, okay? And Vanguard's got like a straw. I don't know if it's one long straw or two straws connected to like one of his legs or antennas, and then it's going into the drink, and he's drinking. Okay, like an alcoholic beverage. Right. And Senor Benjamin goes, hey, man, I think you're drinking too much. And Vanguard says, don't judge me, bro.
Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
Great, man. That's great. That's all Borash, too.
Yeah.
All that stuff, That's funny stuff, man.
That's awesome.
Disco loves putting over Borash.
Yeah, he ain't afraid.
But, he gets it in every time.
I have no shame.
Yo, no, none. So what do you guys got going on, or what's going on with you guys before we get out of this intro?
I've just been doing the usual stuff, man, just podcasting. Kevin Gill Show is pulling moves, and we got Paul London from Lucha Underground on this week, and Matt Riddle has been getting rave reviews. And if you guys haven't checked out Matt Riddle's ring work or his interview, I suggest you check it out on KevinGillShow.com or iTunes.
Let me ask you a question. You send me a link of that. I haven't got a chance to look at that. Does Paul London bury me on this on your show?
You know what? I can't. I don't know. I have to re-listen.
What do you mean you don't know?
Were you interviewing him?
Yeah, but
the guy you don't remember. But why would you send me that? We just sent me the link just to listen to because you tagged me in it. But you tagged me like maybe like he said something about me on there.
When did I tag you in a post about Paul London?
Or you either emailed it to you, text me, messaged me, or something. You messaged me the show.
Okay, I've been trying to promote it for sure. Maybe I just sent it to you kind of like – or maybe I sent it to you because you were saying you listen to stuff on the treadmill or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But why would you think that if he sent you something, it had to be about somebody burying you?
No, because because I've, like in a lighthearted way, buried Paul London in the past.
Oh, so you're now afraid of the
No. I just wonder what he said about me. I mean, I think he's a good worker or something, but I if you've ever seen him at a show –
right.
He does the entrance.
Right.
I think we've talked about this where he goes out and literally shakes every single fan in the audience's hand before he gets into the ring.
Right, which is absolutely hilarious and very creative.
And, if you're one of those promoters, you're working for one of the guys that pays everybody when the show is over, and he's in the main event, you kind of get a little bit annoyed that he's doing this and taking up your time.
Come on. That's all you got on that? That's what you're hot about? That he took an extra 3 minutes to get over with the fans?
3 minutes?
5 minutes, all right.
5 minutes?
Okay, Ted.
We're talking a lot. That's a lot of time. Like Jesus.
That's all that matters.
Oh my God.
If you gotta wait in the meantime, that's your problem.
It is. I will say this. It is extremely unique. No, I've never seen. Bro, I've been doing wrestling for 24 years. I've never seen anybody do that, and he does it every time.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's
he does a lot of unique stuff, and he has a really unique perspective on life, man. I think it's one of the best interviews I've done, or he's been one of the best guests I've ever had, however you want to put it. But it gets real emotional.
Every guest.
Right.
Well, I feel like I'm on a roll, man. Plus, I got the rub from Konnan, and Disco's also here.
Okay, so anyways, check out that Paul London interview. Where can they check it out at?
It's on iTunes and KevinGillShow.com. Also, Audio Boom.
Man, and again, it's incredible the numbers that we're seeing, the growth that we're seeing, and a lot of it is because of you telling other friends. So if this is the type of show that you think a friend would like, please let them know. Let them check it out. Rate, review us. Tweet us. We're very interactive. We always talk amongst each other and with all the fans. And we just keep doing what we do. And thank you very much for your patronage on Keeping It 100 with myself, Konnan, DI, and KG. Boom.
And, of course, tweet at Konnan5150, at The Real Disco, and at OG Kevin Gill.
That was the intro, and now we roll on with the show.
So basically, I've been snacking healthy lately. I'm off the junk food. I'm eating low carb, and I'm all over these NatureBox snacks, and they're just absolutely delicious because it's healthy and it's delicious. And I just we've been discussing this every week, and I just ordered 5 different types of snacks off of NatureBox, and I know you guys. How many did you order, Kevin?
I got like 7.
How about you, Konnan?
I got around 4. The turkey jerky and some other stuff. But how can people get the NatureBox snacks?
Well, that's the thing. It's like for people that don't know what we're talking about, NatureBox makes snacks that actually taste great and are better for you. They're created with high-quality ingredients that are free from artificial colors, flavors, or even sweeteners, so you can feel great about snacking. NatureBox recently made their service even better. It's like you can order as much as you want, as often as you want, with no minimum purchase required, and you can cancel at any time. So I just ordered five snacks, okay? I ordered the lemon tea biscuits. Okay, this was, I thought this was crazy, so I had to try this. Flax fortune coins, honey crunch crisps.
Okay, go back to the second one. How was that?
They're all delicious. Right. I mean, like it's it's so many snacks. The salt and pepper lentil loops, bro. They're exotic gourmet snacks, and it's simple.
Bro, here's the thing that I like about it. Since you told me about it, is that how sometimes you'll eat a snack late at night, has empty calories, and you feel bad after. I shouldn't have eaten that. You know what I'm saying? You can eat as much of this, and they're not empty calories.
No, they're delicious. Right. And it's simple. You just go to naturebox.com and check out their snack catalog. There are over 100 snacks to choose from, and they're constantly adding delicious new snacks. You can choose the snacks you want. They'll deliver them right to your door. And here's the best part about NatureBox. And this is why every one of our listeners should give this thing a try. So with NatureBox, you'll never get bored. They're new snacks each month, and they're inspired by real customer feedback. And if you ever try a snack you don't like, get a load of this. NatureBox will replace it for free. So if you don't like your snacks, they'll just replace it with another snack for free. No charge.
What did you try, KG, that you liked?
Man, it's the Big Island pineapple, man. So just delicious, man. And it's good. Pineapple is a natural anti-inflammatory as well.
All right.
Real quick, Conan. For our listeners out there, tell me how does this sound? Crispy coconut squares, blueberry almost quinoa bites, cranberry almond bites, mac and cheese with veggies, and French vanilla almond granola. I mean, does that not sound just like delicious and healthy?
Yes. I tried the mac and cheese with the veggies. That was excellent. I also the turkey jerky, which I always order. I like that one a lot. And of course, you were the one that told me about this, and I've been ordering ever since. Those dark cocoa num nums.
The num
really? For me, dog, it's the peanut butter num nums.
Yeah, they're both good. Make sure you get your NatureBox snacks. They're healthy for you, no empty calories. If you don't like it, you can send it back. You can give them feedback. You can give them ideas for snacks that you'd like to try. So, bro, you can't beat that. Where can people get this, KG, or how can they get it? Boom.
Well, here's the deal, man. NatureBox is giving listeners of Keeping It 100 50% off their first order. So their prices are already low for the holidays. Now they're 50% off on top of that. The time to get your snack order in is now. Just go to naturebox.com/podcast. That's naturebox.com/podcast. 50% off your first order. What's that, Disco Inferno? naturebox.com/podcast.
And for the holidays, a new snack, disco balls. Boom.
I'll just stick with the whole wheat chocolate animal cookies.
Tremendous.
The Hurricane Shane Helms is a podcasting trailblazer, a comedic legend, and a wrestling mastermind, and we're honored to have him here each week on Keeping It 100 for the Highway to Helms segment. This week, he breaks it down on UFC. Take it away, Shane.
You know what Woodley needs to do? Woodley needs to be like what Bernard Hopkins did once he became the executioner. You know, because for some reason Woodley's got this kind of heat.
Right.
You know, I don't really remember him ever doing anything bad or saying anything too crazy. But for some reason, he's one of those guys that some fans just boo, whatever.
Right.
But so I think he just needs to embrace that, man. And do so like how Bernard Hopkins did, man. He just embraced it that people hated him.
Right,
Next
like
thing you know, he's wearing that black hood all the time, you know, coming out like the Grim Reaper shit.
I'll tell you what,
Do something like
Brian Stan and Bisping talked about that on the post-fight. And because they know Woodley, and they go, wow, you know, Woodley's a great guy. They go, and he's having a difficult time with the fact that people don't like him.
Right.
So I don't think he can embrace it because he's having, he's one of those guys is like, when people don't like you, it bothers you. As opposed to when people don't like you, just because you just play the role. You know, he seems to me like a
which LeBron ended up doing. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, but people can grow out of that. Though we've seen that in our business. You know, when you got guys that are new, and you know, and even though they kind of get the business, sometimes they don't because you know they want to get cheered, but they're getting booed, and like. You know, but when you can get those guys to embrace it, they become great heels.
Well, but that's the thing, though, Shay. Our business is different. We can play roles.
Oh shit! It's almost exactly.
No. But I'm saying
we're giving McGregor that.
What I'm saying, but we're given roles. Okay, but Conor McGregor can play the game. Conor McGregor would do good in our business. Tyler Woodley would not do good in our business. Right. You know, and say that he's kind of like us. So you know what it reminds me of? Remember how Goldberg had a difficult time when we turned him heel, and he's like, I don't, you know, it's like he didn't feel it. You know, Sting always had a hard time, like wanted to turn it, just didn't feel. You know, so some guys, you know, it's just difficult for some people. You know, you and I, all of us could actually go and say, hey, you're the baby or you're the heel tonight, and just go out and play the role because it's all an act.
Yeah, that is a good point.
But this is real. This is the real deal. These guys are fighting and putting their bodies on the line. And like, if you know what I'm saying, you're not putting on an act out there.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to act.
I don't think it would have to be that hard of an act. I don't think it would have to be that hard of an act, though, because if it's bothering him, he's wanting to tell these people to go, you know, F themselves that are booing him. That's what he wants to do. Just do it. That's what you want to do. Just do it. It won't really have to be that big of an act. I mean, the Bernard Hopkins might be in the extreme example, but I think he could do it.
But that's why some guys draw and other guys don't.
Yeah.
You know, some guys are natural. You know, there's not a bunch of top guys. There's just a handful of them. You know, because they embrace the role.
Bro,
Let
me tell you something that really freaks me out. And both of you are big boxing fans for a long time. I cannot believe the timing, the coolness, his stance, his movement, his fluidity is almost unreal. Bro, he seems to throw what look like arm punches at times, and that's Conor McGregor. That guy's got TNT in his hands. I mean, remember how Roberto Duran used to be called Hands of Stone? That's his new moniker, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's one of these guys that bursts into the scenes and you're just mesmerized by his skill, his personality, you know, or both. And we've seen guys like that, like right now with Triple G or with Ali or with Chavez, Mayweather. He almost seems like he was a character written for a Rocky movie, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. That left hook that he throws is so effortless, beautiful, and dangerous. And that's what I wanted to say about Conor.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like a shoulder punch sometimes, too. His shoulder punches generally are a little bit weaker because your body's not into it. But, man, his shoulder punches, he knocks – not saying he's punching the guy in his shoulder, just like we're throwing with his arm to buy a lot of torque behind it. Like, you know,
bro,
say like
he said it best. He said it best.
Yeah.
Bro, he said it best in the last fight. I think it was against – was it Diaz, his last fight?
Yes. Diaz was his last fight, yeah.
Remember he kept saying, D.I., because we were talking about this, precision and timing. Precision and timing.
No, that was Aldo. That was Aldo. He did that with.
Yeah, okay, precision and timing, yeah.
Aldo.
I'll tell you this. This is my friend nailed it when you look at Conor McGregor punch people. It acts okay, like picture two puppets, okay, and say Alvarez is one puppet, and you have a little string that's in the back of Alvarez's head, okay, and the string goes through his forehead and goes all the way to Conor's fist, and like if you're behind him with the puppet and you're pulling the string, but like that's how precise.
Let me. I've never really done this, but this is for your friend.
I thought it was a very visual good picture of the thing. There's like there's like a string connected from his fist to the guy's face.
Please don't do it again.
Yeah, I mean, are you asking for a third? Is that basic? There we go.
I'm gonna say, do you
all three kazoos in one segment? I think he's gonna make Kukui fight Khabib, and then the winner that is gonna go against him.
But I also heard rumor, and it could be rumor and innuendo, that they're still trying to do something with GSP, possibly at a 165 catchweight, 165, 160 catchweight with George St. Pierre.
Right.
And that might be one of the biggest gates of all time if it happens.
Of course.
Especially if it ends up happening anywhere in Canada or something like that.
Right.
I mean, and two, think about how good that card was. And there was two really good fights that got canceled. The Rashad Evans fight got canceled.
Right.
And so did the Cowboy Cerrone fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, though. To me, GSP is old news. Everybody's talking about a super fighter. Bro, he won the last fight, got beat up, and has retired since. So
I thought he lost that fight.
Exactly. To me, that's not hot.
Yeah, but I think
you can hide that. But to me, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, people see these guys look good, and they're like, wow, I want to see that guy against this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you're gonna go back the Wayback Machine, and we need to see highlights of George Pierre from like 6-7 years ago when he was looking really good.
Come on, you were just talking about being a draw a while ago. You trying to tell me that Tony Ferguson's going to outdraw George St. Pierre?
No, here's what I
you out of your mind.
This is
he's not outdrawn, but I'm just like I think Conor killed George St. Pierre. He's got to be flat, older, and have fought.
Right, but you're kind of like a hardcore fan. They're appealing to the masses, and this is a name-driven business, just like boxing and wrestling and everything. And these are two humongous names because and I always used to make this correlation with the wrestlers underneath. They used to say, well, why am I not in the main event yet? And I go, right, well, you're Pentagon, who's the hottest guy right now. And he's one of my boys, I discovered him. So you're Pentagon and you're so-and-so. And even though you can run circles around and you're better and you're more professional and everything than La Parca and Cibernetico, anywhere I put those guys on top is going to draw you guys because you guys don't have that name yet. You're still building up equity. So ESP against Conor to the normal fan base, the casual fan around the world is a sellout.
Okay, no, but I'm not denying that it's a draw. Here's the point I was trying to make. To me, when I see that fight and I see that matchup, it's big hype, but you're going to get Matt Hughes versus Gracie.
Right.
Gracie was past his prime, but he was the big name and everything, and Matt Hughes killed the guy. I don't think that's to me, that's a wasted great fight. It's a great way to draw money for the UFC. It's great for them. Right. You're selling everything.
And the fighters, too, and everybody involved, the pay-per-view companies, everybody's making money, bro. And that's what it's about.
Money. But what do we get as a fan? What are you going to get out of it?
Well,
what if
somebody history, bro?
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
going to see
You're
history.
See George St. Pierre, his legacy is going to be like, just like tarnished
Bro,
because
he
he
might surprise you, bro. Did you think Silva was going to do that good against Cormier?
I would bet a year's pay on Conor McGregor against GSP right now.
Well, of course, nobody's saying, but he might give him a good fight. You just never know until the fight starts. How many times have we seen a lucky knockout or a flash knockout or somebody breaks his leg, like when Silva got check kicked, by Weidman? Anything can happen. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, Aldo was supposed to be able to kick Connor's ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people had Aldo.
Oh yeah,
fight.
Bro, all the fighters and all the experts.
Anything can happen.
All the fighters, all the experts, all the fighters I know, like in town, they all loved Aldo in that fight.
Yeah, bro. And Aldo's like nobody right now. He's like nobody. Okay.
Anyway, guys, the highway to Helms is heading down to the Hardy compound, so I'm gonna have to get off here real quick.
Keep up with everything Shane Helms has got going on over at ShaneHelms.com and follow him on all social media using the name ShaneHelms.com. We'll see you next week, Hurricane.
What do you believe? Would you have had the courage of Muhammad Ali to take on the government based on principle? Or could you find the resolve of Tommy Smith and John Carlos and raise your fist in defiance? Would you have been tough enough to hold your sisters down like Billie Jean King? I'm Chris Webber. Join me every Tuesday on my podcast, Fearless or Insane. We'll discuss sport, athletes, and their impact on society, politics, and culture. Download on Podcast One, PodcastOne.com, and iTunes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God.
All right, stop this right now. Stop this.
With
Stop
liberty
this.
and juicy
This is not
for all.
juicy for all. I'm banning Hoovy this week. This is my decision. We're not having.
Wait a minute. You already banned Mass Republic. Now you're going to ban and Juicy for All. Those are some of the favorite segments of the fans, bro. Well, what are you doing now?
Well,
what do you have? Because I'm siding with Cyrus?
No. Kevin, you've got that clip that I sent you?
Unfortunately, yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, why don't you play it for your boy Konnan here and see what he thinks about his boy Hoovy now?
Yeah, I think Disco might have you this time. Roll the tape.
Well, we are live here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It is WrestleCade 5 weekend, and it is a special Breakfast Club update. And as the voice of the Breakfast Club, we have some breaking news. And I'm going to turn it over right now to Double J, and he's going to give us what could be the biggest thing that ever happened to the BC.
Well, we've been searching worldwide. We went south of the border. We took the greatest talent that's on the sign out there, and we made them our own. Breakfast Club, come on in. Welcome our new member.
Major six-figure deal. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the Breakfast Club.
What's up, everybody? This is the juicy one in the house with the Breakfast Club. Money talks, and Disco Inferno and Konnan, you can suck my dick.
We got your orange juice, we got your apple juice, we got your grapefruit, and we got your Hoovy juice.
You can get juicy with this little finger.
Kevin Gill, right here. Watch, big things are happening.
We got the juice.
The juice is loose with the Breakfast Club. Get ready.
Did they drug him? What happened? What happened?
I mean, well, those are our boys at the at Brizcliz on Twitter,
Right.
the BRIZZCLIZZ, that they're getting a little big for their britches now, and they seem to have brainwashed Hoovy or something.
I think they drugged him. They have tremendous heat with me right now. The Brizclits.
What started as a couple of fun guys who like to eat breakfast has turned into almost like a kidnapping and drug ring.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
they turned the guy against us. They played the juice. The juice says so. You know what? Let me bring the juice next segment and next week, and let's find out what happened.
Okay, but he's banned this week.
All right.
Where can people find you on social media, Hoovy?
Oh, it's on Twitter. It's Juventud Guerrera #2. Guerrera #2.
How do you spell that? Hoovy, you got to spell that out because it's a difficult. It's hard to find on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Okay, it's GUBENTUD. I'm gonna say that GUBENTUD.
ENTUDGUERRE2, mother. Yeah, that's right. That's my Twitter.
I think a lot of people are going to be finding you.
Yo, man, we finally got a clip from our boys at Killing the Town, Lance Storm and Cyrus, and let's check it out.
You know, I'm pretty much done with disco, and I'm just going to say that, you know, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'm disgusted by some of the comments that I've read. You know, I've talked to a lot of guys that I haven't talked to in a long time, guys that have reached out to me that were in WCW at the time, and started to hear a lot of things about how things were going. You know, Disco likes to talk about the fact that he was on these booking committees, and he was on booking committees in WCW. He was always there, and he likes to talk about how I'm turning his friends against him. Let me tell you something about Disco. Disco doesn't have friends. He has hosts, like a parasite. Disco is a wood tick. He attaches himself to whoever he thinks can help him, whoever he thinks can be in power, and then they keep him around because he does his little court jester routine. And more to the point, he's a threat to no one. So you have him around, you laugh at him. As Konnan said, he's been abusing him for 20 years, and Disco's never made a comeback on him. He's a hanger-on. He's a wood tick on the butt of society. And this is what he did. And the thing that's very interesting to me is the whole time as WCW was going in the tank, what killed WCW was bad ideas. Bad creative ideas killed WCW. And the one constant through all of those booking committees was the Disco Inferno and his asinine, ridiculous ideas that were mainlined into the system as he attached himself to this creative committee like a blood-sucking parasite wood tick that he is, like the office stooge that he is. And these ideas permeated the creative system and somehow, by God, found themselves on television, causing irreparable harm to this company and putting it out of business and effectively creating a monopoly. Now, think about it this way. How much money did it cost you? How much money did it cost me that company was put out of business by someone like Disco Inferno, which is unbelievable to me. Now, I had a deal on the table to go to WCW at the end. I estimate that if I had a 10-year run there, the Disco Inferno, with interest, has cost me over $9 million. How much has he cost everyone else in the business who now only had one place to work because he killed WCW with his jackass, asinine, wood tick ideas on the creative? How much money did he cost big stars who now only had one place to go? In fact, I would say that if you were in the wrestling business then, now, or next year, and you see Disco Inferno at a public event, I suggest you go up and slap him in the face and tell him he owes you money because he killed the business for all of us, creating a monopoly environment by having his stupid ideas permeate the system and kill WCW.
All right. Well, I don't think we should actually instruct people to strike Disco Inferno. If you want to go up figuratively okay. Would be best. Yes. If you want to call him on that, feel free, but don't actually strike Disco Inferno anywhere if you can avoid it. He's taking enough of a tongue lashing. We don't need him to actually take a physical one.
Wow, you got tremendous heat with Cyrus.
I mean, why do we keep promoting this on this show?
Yeah, we're kind of like boosting the signal for these ham and eggers.
Well, bro, I mean, you know, you made some comments.
Look,
some comments. He got offended. You got offended. I just want to bring him on the show. Would you get hot if I did that?
I mean, I don't see what the purpose is. You're just like enabling a troll. You know, like if this is like if you were to this is the sad commentary to this whole thing is that the guy, you know, this speaks volumes of Lance and his eye for talent.
Right.
You know, that he would give this guy a forum to basically express.
Do you think? Let's go back to the Canadian conspiracy and see if you follow me on this. Let me just say this real quick, because you've been talking about a Canadian conspiracy for a while. Okay, do you think the fact that you took a lot of heat for Lance Storm's downfall in WCW now he's bringing Cyrus into the game to get back at you?
Because you're way off too. Then you're kind of sympathizing with this guy. that's also a testament on your part of your lack of
well, if anything,
because let me just point this out categorically.
Yeah.
If Cyrus is going to speak about things, you at least need to educate yourself to the facts of the situation before you speak. I was not attached to booking committees for the whole time through the downfall of WCW. I was on the committee for 8 months, for 2000. The ratings already plummeted when I became part of the booking committee. Okay, that's for one. For two is that this guy doesn't even realize. Does Lance realize that when he's talking about all these bad ideas and bad creative, bro, we were pushing Lance Storm. I mean, it was a bad idea creatively to push Lance Storm. He's burying his own boss without even knowing about it. I mean, but this is like a situation where if you were a manager of a company, okay, and you hired a guy, and the guy's first day on the job, all he started doing was just bullshitting everybody with these stories about himself, the things he's done that were not true. The other employees called him out on it. And not only did he double down and just continue the lies, he went and attacked the person that was accusing him or exposing his bullshit. Okay? And then say you went to the owner of the company and you said, hey, this guy's this guy's bad for business here. He's trying to bury us. He's burying the brand. And
Bro,
that's the way I feel.
Thank you.
Let me finish.
This guy, wait a minute.
You've been kazooed.
Let me finish.
You've been kazooed.
Let me finish.
You've been kazooed.
This is a situation where this guy's burying, false accusations against members of the Jericho Network. I mean, this speaks volumes to maybe a lack of judgment on Chris Jericho's part.
Whoa.
Letting this guy be a part of his podcast network where all he's doing is going on each week and trying to bury the other members of the network. I mean, how stupid is that? I mean, how dumb do you got to be from a business perspective? If he comes on this show, or if I go on his show, if they invite me on wherever, that is a beat down, okay, intellectually and factually. So, we can go where we want with this, but so Cyrus is a schmuck. I mean, that's the bottom line. Nobody really knows who the guy is. He's trying to make himself famous, but that's all I've got to say on this matter.
All right, so
the ball's in your court, man.
Yeah, bro. I love confrontations, so I would love to bring Cyrus on, who seems like he has a lot to say. So come over here, Cyrus. Spew all your venom at Disco. I want to hear, about the X Division, about him inventing some vines that you were supposed to swing to get to the X Division, how over you were in Outer Mongolia, because he's a big deal in Sri Lanka, the Fiji Islands, the Vatican.
Yeah.
Bro,
he broke Pat Patterson's attendance record in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, as well.
I don't believe that.
KG turned on you again. But anyways, so Cyrus,
you can't even fact check these claims, because this guy has never done anything. So there's no facts to check. He speaks of things that we can't, we can't question, their truthfulness, and we have to take him on his word. And so far, all we know on his word so far, he's a pathological liar.
Kind of like Trump.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
So, all right. So that's what we'll do, man. We'll Cyrus, I think you need to come on here, confront Disco, and see what he has to say. And hopefully we can do this by next week. Boom.
And we're going to stop right there. We're not going to talk anymore about killing the town because we don't want those two goofs to kill our podcast. So let's keep the show rolling.
Yo, man, it's about that holiday time. It's time to get that shopping started. Man, if you want to go old school and spend hours looking for a parking spot, and having to deal with crowds in a mall. I hate crowds, bro. I hate having to be there looking for parking and then I forget where my car is or whatever. So best way to do it, bro, is just get on Amazon and get all your shopping done from home by clicking a few buttons. And
bro.
Yeah.
Let me tell people how easy it is. But bro, here's the one thing I hate about the holiday season shopping, and probably you do too. Is first of all, the shopping part is painstakingly takes way too much time. Okay, right. You have to try things on and stuff and all that. But the thing I hate more than anything, you tell me if you disagree with me on this, is once you have your item, the amount of time you have to wait in line to get to the register to pay.
Yeah, that could be a pain in the
There's nothing more aggravating than that. But if you go to the Podcast One homepage and you look up in the upper right hand corner and click on that Killer Deals button, you'll see the pages for all the links. You'll hit that Keepin' It 100 link. It's in alphabetical order. And then you'll see the Amazon links for the United States, the UK, and Canada. And basically, this is how you have to shop during the holidays because it's so easy. Right. Bro, I'm looking on Amazon, okay? These days, you can go on Amazon.com. You can get a 60-inch smart LED TV for like $795.
Right.
65-inch TVs, $997. 65 inches, 60 bro. It's like these massive giant TVs are so friggin' cheap, and all you got to do is just click and buy.
Bro,
Kevin,
and
you're an Amazon Prime member.
And let me just tell you something real quick that I was looking at here. Also, you can also get, and this is something that I think Disco probably would like and would use, is the Fun World men's big top clown costume, and it comes with the jumbo clown shoes. So
why would I use that?
You were not a clown in your past vessel. Broken Man did not say that on our. You can't look into the past, bro. He can, and he did, and he said that's what you did. So
you're not. You actually are interpreting what Matt Hardy said is serious.
Yes.
There's no interpretation. It's just fact. It's
right. Just like some people, they use the biblical doctrines. I go by the doctrine of Matt Hardy, Broken Matt.
Well, you know what Broken Matt Hardy would tell everybody, all of our listeners to the show?
What?
He would tell them to shop on Amazon.com.
He would say that.
He would say that. He would say, click on that Killer Deals button and click on our link and keep it at 100 and do your Christmas shop, because Matt Hardy said in everybody's previous vessel that nobody liked waiting in line at the store.
That is true.
That is true. So Matt Hardy would agree that Amazon.com is the way to shop. Kevin, you're an Amazon Prime member, right?
Absolutely, man. I did some shopping this week.
How do you do it?
I did it right on my iPhone, sitting in a recliner with my feet up. Did you see all those great disco clown memes that have been going viral?
Tremendous. Yes, I have. Very good creativity. Keep them coming. Disco enjoys them.
Very immature.
Bro, you're going to tell me that some of those memes weren't you?
No. And by the way,
they suspiciously look a lot like
you. We've been mispronouncing the word memes this whole time.
Really? What is it?
Meme.
Are you sure?
I just read that the other day.
I've never heard anybody call it a meme.
No, you haven't, because everybody's been mispronouncing.
Please tell me. Please wait. I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look the pronunciation right now.
Pronunciation.
I hope
here.
Let me see. Meme.
Pronunciation meme right here.
No, I'm gonna hear the verbal thing how they say it, because you know how you press it and the guy goes.
I just read the other day. It said.
It says it right here. How to pronounce.
I just read the other day. It said the one that says you gotta pronounce it meme.
Okay, ready? Tell me if you can hear this or not.
Meme.
Did you guys hear that or no?
Yes, we did.
What did it say? Meme or meme?
No, it said meme. But I'm telling you, this is what I heard. I read this the other day.
From where?
Just on the thing. I can't believe I can't find it right now. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, please, everybody that's listening to this, if it's meme, then we will apologize, or meme, or whatever the.
No.
Called it. What is it? What did you call it?
The thing was saying how everybody has been pronouncing meme incorrectly all this time, and it's supposed to be meme. So that's I'm not going to call it a meme. I'm going to call it a meme.
Well, you already did. Now you're backtracking. Please tell me that Disco's wrong, and if he is, let him have it on Twitter. That's my holiday.
Wrong.
That's my holiday gift to you.
Okay.
So that's all you got to do.
And if we're wrong, I will apologize.
100%. So just go to podcast1.com and click on that Killer Deals link. Then click the Keep It at 100 show logo, and it'll take you right to your Amazon links, US, UK, Canada. Click the link and bookmark it so you can save it for next time. Thank you for helping us keep this show going. Hey, yay!
Get your disco candles. Boom.
And I don't want to see any more clown memes.
Tremendous.
Keeping It 100 with Konnan brings diversity, it brings hilarity, and it brings knowledge. Take a step outside the wrestling ring and get a little educated on the world of politics.
I started listening to this podcast, and it's very interesting. Because, like, if you heard about this in politics, this new thing, the alt-right movement?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, what like, just offhand when I mentioned that to you, what's your opinion of it?
Negative.
Like, what have you heard? Why is it negative?
Super uptight, conservative, ultra, like, Republican, almost to the point of being like Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Having weird anti-Jewish shit, all kinds of super negative white people stuff.
Okay.
I saw the infamous, and of course, right now when you just read headlines and you're hearing sound bites, especially from the other side, you can be easily manipulated. But it's hard to investigate every little thing. But the one thing I did see that they were trying to pose them in a negative light was, I guess they had a meeting, I think, with the magazine The Atlantic or something like that. And people were shooting up like Heil Hitler, the salute. But the only thing I've read that I know is that one of the guys that Trump picked, it might have been his chief of staff, was part of the, that, what is it, alt-right? Alternate right? Is that what it stands for? Yeah, and they're like just supposed to be super conservative, kind of like bordering on kind of like white, superiority issues. But that's all I really know. Yeah.
So based on that's what I read too and what I've heard. Okay, and basically said the same thing. So I went in this with a very open mind. Okay,
right.
And I've been seeing this guy on Facebook because my friends post this everything. And this guy, have you heard of this guy Milo Yiannopoulos?
I heard the name.
Yes, me too. Yeah,
pretty boy gay guy. Okay, he's a gay Jewish guy.
Yeah, he's got like a really popular podcast, right?
Yes, he's very conservative. He's like kind of like so. Basically, So going in, he's got this thing called like I'd read about him. Okay, like he's got this thing called the Dangerous Faggot Tour. Okay, where he goes, and because of like he's right wing, he's anti left wing media. Okay, and basically he's one of these guys that goes to college campus and everything. He's very for free speech. Very, he's one of those, right?
Right.
So there's always these groups trying to ban him. He's been kicked off Twitter. So I was like, geez, a guy. So I'm reading these white supremacists and stuff. So I just completely open mind. He's on podcast when he's got a podcast, right?
Right. Yeah, I always see it. I always see him on there. Yeah.
Pretty boy, right? So I listened to it, okay? And I was like, wow, this guy is really, really, really entertaining.
Right.
Okay? I got nothing of the white supremacist stuff and everything and all that from him. I got nothing like, basically this whole thing of like this whole new right-wing movement
right
is – and it's kind of like bro, Konnan, I think you would be the type of guy that would not so follow this, but you would agree with a lot of the things they say because it's very politically correct.
Right.
It's like how we have to worry about the words we say all the time. We can't being funny and being like a comedian is almost dangerous because you don't want to say things that offend people.
Right.
You're offending feminists all the time. It seems like you're offending and what they do in response. And this is the way this guy explains it, is when you offend people, when you're anti against that, they respond to you by labeling you and name calling you.
Right.
So, and like the thing he brought up he goes like, because they started calling him a white supremacist out of nowhere, even though he's a gay Jewish guy. Okay. So he said it just came out of nowhere. But the funniest thing is
Jewish guy can't be a white supremacist?
But I don't see that from him. Just because he's bro, the thing is these guys are like, you could spin the narrative.
Right.
That it's kind of racial and that they're he's like anti-immigration, but not like illegal immigration. He's just anti-globalization. I just get the feeling that like this thing and like the reason Donald Trump got elected is because people are just sick and tired of being like labeled like that. It's called identity politics. You just are people that disagree with the left-wing media. They just start name calling. You start labeling.
All right. But here's the problem. I look at the alternative right. Right. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that comes up on Twitter is Richard Spencer. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it says love him or hate him. But right underneath it says, indeed, Richard Spencer seems to be ubiquitous as of late, a portentous, well-mannered, troll-smiling white supremacist. But this was probably written by liberal media. But let me go. Now it says alternative right Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Is an alternative right is an identitarian website created by Richard Spencer and Colin Liddell. And the later new alternative right web editor that was created. Okay, the site's white nationalist stance has attracted criticism from Anti-Defamation League. That right there, is telling you that, they're into white supremacy and all that.
But that's the thing. I read that, right? And I'm reading other like I go to Breitbart.com.
Well,
and
that's like the home base of that shit.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me. Can I tell you?
That's my point.
Let me just say one thing. One thing, real quick. In 2012, the Alternative Right published an article entitled "Is Black Genocide Right?" Okay. It stated that the black race has contributed almost nothing to the pool of civilization and asked whether black genocide is something worth considering. After drawing widespread criticism, the article was deleted from the site. That's not a good look, bro.
No, it's not a good look.
Right.
But I will say this. Have you ever read an article?
But it's always interesting to listen to the other side.
That's my point.
And here's the thing, Glenn. We slept on the other side really bad, and we were in for rude awakening. We thought the Latinos would make a difference in the elections, and they didn't, because at the end of the day, as many Latinos as we all see, because we live in areas with a lot of Latinos, be it Las Vegas, San Francisco, or San Diego, there ain't a lot of Latinos in Nebraska and Montana and South Dakota and Idaho and the rest of the United States. You know what I'm saying? So we're only 17% of the population. Blacks are only 13% of the population. It was the white vote, and they were tired of being labeled. Now looking back on it, I see some of the mistakes the media made. The biggest one was not letting Bernie Sanders run, undercutting your strongest candidate. But let's put that to the side. Let's put that to the side real quick. But you can't keep labeling people racist and shit like that when some of them aren't. A lot of them aren't, and they're like, really, that's what you think? We're racist? That's what you think? That you don't think that we're worried about the economy? You don't think we're pissed off about, other issues? And they went to vote, bro. They mobilized and they went out there and they tore her up. When you look at that final map of all the red and the blue, it was incredible, And
let me tell you this too. This is like, because Donald Trump is a right winger. This is what they do. Is like the left wing. Basically, if you're against liberals, they basically they label you. You're misogyny. You're endorsing this. You're endorsing racism. You're endorsing misogyny. You're just like basically saying if you're not with them, like this is what you are. Okay, bro. Did you see what Bernie Sanders just came out and said today?
No,
bro. It's the exact same thing Donald Trump preached to Middle America that got him elected. He said we've got to stop this. This is exactly from Bernie Sanders. I'd actually like to read it verbatim, but basically I saw the tweet today. We've got to stop this. Let me try and find it. Here it is exactly. We've got to end the absurdity of seeing profitable factories where workers are productive, moving to Mexico and paying workers $3 an hour. And then, bro, that's what people are scared of.
Well, hold on a minute, though. That's kind of a big swerverino. The NAFTA has been moving American manufacturing to Mexico for like over 20 years or whatever.
Exactly.
Donald Trump, one of his biggest points was not stop companies from moving. It was more like stop immigrants because they're murderers and some of them are rapists and a few are okay.
No. He did say one of the things he did say is he was actually going to fine companies that kept doing business overseas instead of doing it in the United States and giving workers jobs. It's going to be a hard task because, when you can pay a guy in Mexico $2 an hour and you got to pay a guy over here, $8 and overtime, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be very tough to get those companies back.
Here's the gist of what Donald Trump basically was saying about Mexico and how it's been spun into racism, okay?
But hold on, though, Disco. When the guy says that the people that come over here are murderers and rapists, there's no spin on that.
But let him say it and then tell him what you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald, you got to understand, and Konnan will tell you this. Do you know what the murder rate in Mexico is right now?
Yeah, it's astronomical.
It's KG. It's 20 times higher than the United States.
Bro, let me tell you how bad it is. You can cross the border from Juarez to El Paso, and it's almost night and day. Like there's maybe one murder. I don't know the exact thing, but it's like 5 to 10 times worse than Juarez, just crossing the border.
Just crossing the border. Okay. Yeah. So then I want you to get the gist of this, and I don't, because the media has spun this, and you tell me if you think anything is inherently wrong with what is being said here. Okay, we are getting killed by Mexico. They're beating us because they are paying their workers nothing. So they are stealing companies from America, getting their business, and paying their workers nothing. Okay, the country
I agree with that.
the country. So that's why I said Mexico's been beating us. The country's infested with with the drug trade, the criminal drug trade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our borders are loose to where basically, what do you want to call it? The symptoms of the drug trade or the people involved in it very easily are crossing our borders illegally and coming to the United States. We're getting murderers. We're getting rapists. It's like we're not, and like maybe this was the problem. This is the problem Donald Trump said. He said they're sending. Okay? That word, and I think the choice of words is incorrect, because I don't think that anybody thinks that like there's some like basically, political plan by Mexico to send people over here to rape and kill and stuff everything. But what Donald Trump wants to do is he's never had a problem with legal immigration from the Mexican people. Bro, Donald Trump has done business with Univision for years. Okay, so he does business with Mexico. It's not like he's racist against Mexico or racist against Mexicans. He wants the illegal immigrants, that there's so many of them here right now that it's become a problem that we're kind of ignoring. Bro, he wants to be as difficult as it may seem.
But it's all rhetoric, though, Disco. Like nothing.
Bro, but it might be rhetoric, but this was the point. I was asking you guys. This is my part of the question. Do you see anything wrong with as a country for us finding illegal immigrants and sending them back over and put them back through the legal immigration process? Do you see anything wrong with that?
I think if they have any sort of criminal record, if they are arrested on felonies while they are here, if they have serious felonies and charges in Mexico and all that, I think that could be something maybe open for consideration. But the idea of like finding out, oh, this girl who's lived in America her whole life and was born here when she's 1 year old and now she's 17 and in college or whatever is getting sent home, or La Migra shows up to take your brother and your father, and then it's just you and your sister. You know what I mean?
It's just funny to me because I just really think that, because the other day when they were telling Trump that it was, a conflict of interest to be still running his businesses, remember he said he could be president and run the business? Mm-hmm. And he said, my brand has never been stronger. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it takes me back to, I think he initially got into the race just to get a buzz about his brand. Like he went to WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was always, the apprentice.
Yeah, remember what I told you about what Mark Cuban said his end game was, right?
No.
It basically said his end game was basically to win the popular vote but lose the election so he wouldn't have to do all the work.
Right, right.
Yeah, basically just to brand, to help his brand.
So he went in there, he did a hell of a job of branding, but at the same time, something really funny happened. Mm-hmm. This strong populist movement that has taken over in the Philippines and put that guy in power that we were talking about, Duterte, remember? Mm-hmm. You're seeing it in Italy. You're seeing it in a lot of countries. There's a populist movement taking over because the whole world, just like the United States, has noticed that government just goes in there to serve themselves and their campaign contributors and the lobbyists and other elected officials. Everybody doing favors for everybody and doing underhand dealing, and the rest of the country, is the victim of political infighting. Like I was watching this thing about the Prime Minister of Italy. He was saying that he wanted to make their parliament smaller, because we have like 500 between the Senate and the House of Representatives, right? 500 and change. Bro, yeah. Italy, how many people does Italy have, KG? Could you check real quick while I'm saying this?
Yeah.
Italy has 900 members.
Wow.
Okay, come on. They can't have more than 20 million. I don't know. How many people does Italy have?
It says here 59.8 million.
Okay, 59 million still. We got 300 million plus, and we have half what they do. So that's bureaucracy tying things down, people getting pensions, people taking care of funds, people are tired. They're tired of seeing politics doesn't work for them. And they roll the dice with a guy that's a strong leader. We've always loved strong leaders, whether it was Reagan, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, Trump, one thing he does show is leadership. And I think he riled up his base. He used to say, I read this one time, that he would go into a room, and if he saw the room was quiet, he'd use almost like, how wrestlers will do their
like catchphrases.
Catchphrases. Lock her up. Lock, shit like that. And people would get into it. He knows how to read a room, bro. He's a con man. So anyways, I think once he riled up we're going to get immigrants out. Yeah, let's get immigrants out. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Once he got there, they were like, all right, now you got to chill out, because you've actually, the country's divided. You got people protesting, you have people wanting recounts. You just can't do that anymore. Now you see him with a more somber tone. I mean, there's a lot of things he's walking back on. One, he's not going to indict Hillary. Shit, in the last debate, he said, if I were in charge, you'd be in jail. Huge pop. They even had to tell the moderator had to tell the people not to react. Remember?
And he even said, and when I am elected, I will prosecute you. Every one of his promises, to me, it's okay. Presidents almost never deliver on their promises, but to me, it's unprecedented to verbally back out of all your top 3 or 4 cornerstones of your entire campaign, and you back out of them before you're even the Electoral College even votes.
But Ken, let me bring up a good point. And this is what I said, because bro, there's.
But let me say something. Can I just
Trump
say
is kind of lean. Go ahead.
The only thing I want to say is he's almost in a predicament because he told the people what they wanted to hear, but he knows, or his inner circle smart enough to tell him, bro, you do that, and there's going to be riots in this. All the Democrats, if you try to imprison her now, you're going to be wasting a lot of taxpayer money. A lot of people are going to be fit. Just leave it alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not even worth the headache. And that's probably what he's doing. I
think I may have brought this up. I either tweeted this or may have brought this up in the show.
Is there anything of what I said, KG, that you think could be true or no?
I think what you said is spot on.
Right.
Well, plus 2, you get it. And I said this. I tweeted this. I said you guys. It said you. I forgot if I tweeted it was a Facebook conversation.
Who cares? You know what?
I said you watch. I said listen though. I said you watch. Donald Trump is going to be a lot more left leaning than you think, and I think what he's doing, bro. Okay. Who's he pissing off right now by going back on his promises?
Well,
the right wingers.
Well,
okay,
let's be honest though. The people he's going back on are the people that don't necessarily seem wise enough to the game to even understand how they are being played in that component. Because there's people that were out screaming in the streets for a wall and stuff right after the election because they really thought there was going to be one. They were promised one.
So don't you think that this looks like a type of person that's not being divisive? It's not racist to say, hey, hang on a second. We need to be kind of like, watch out who we let come across here because these are drug dealers, say that are killing people.
But like you said, the message was sent wrong. When he said they send us the rapists and the drug dealers, that's almost, who did that and which I thought was brilliant? Castro.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Carter said, like in the 80s, and he was like, hey, if you remember in Scarface, this line actually came out in Scarface. Remember when Jimmy Carter said, hey, send me all your people?
Mm-hmm.
Cuba, because people wanted to leave Cuba. And then, Al Pacino, Scarface says, hey, give me my human right, like Jimmy Carter say so.
Right.
Well, when all these people wanted to leave Cuba, Castro said, all right, you want to take them, Jimmy Carter? You got them. Boom. The Mariel boat lift, which I actually had to go pick up my uncle because my uncle used to be a pilot for this. Do you guys remember that old airline called Eastern Airline?
Sure. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it was based out of Miami. He was a pilot, and he hijacked a pilot, but without people in it, and he went back to Cuba because he was homesick, and they actually put him in prison because they thought he was like a double agent or something. But anyways, so 10 years later, they let him go, and they sent him in the Mariel boat lift. I had to go pick him up at the Orange Bowl. Remember that scene they had in the Orange Bowl? Like they were in tents and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
The refugees in Scarface?
Yep.
Okay, I had to go pick him up there. Well, anyways, what Castro did, which I thought was actually hilarious, ingenious, he sent all the refugees that wanted to leave Cuba, but he also sent every rapist, every homosexual, every mental patient, and he called them La Escoria. This is the dirt of Cuba. Take it, United States, and have fun with it. Boom. And that shit landed in Miami, bro. So imagine all that violence, and at the same time, cocaine was hitting the scene. Miami was like a tinderbox. But yeah, Castro did that. He did send us as rapists and murderers and all that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like.
Yeah, the thing is with Donald is, still very shaky. He's got that one guy. He's like his chief executive officer. He's part of that alternative right. I forgot his name. Remember?
Steve Bannon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he said that he picked lobbyists. He surrounded himself with lobbyists. And then he said, well, they're the guys that know the system. Who else do you want me to hire? After he said he was going to get rid of them. Right. So, I'm still a little bit scared on that part. But let's see. I mean, he's been a lot more conciliatory than I thought. You know what I'm saying? And so all we can do right now is wait and see. Oh, and this is what I was trying to say before to your point about him pissing off the Republicans, KG, that I know you're a little bit of a political junkie. You've seen how much heat he's getting right now for even considering Mitt Romney.
Right.
Mitt Romney went out of his way to bury, of his way. No, not within the normal parameters of politics. He almost did like what Ted Cruz did. Remember when he was supposed to go out there and endorse him? And he goes, no, I'm not endorsing you. You buried me and you buried my wife, and I'm not endorsing you. You know, like he went at it. Mitt did the same thing.
Yeah, but
Donald is willing to put that to the side and go, okay, bro, that's how it is. You know, you sling mud at each other in a political race. You don't, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like when you get in a fist fight with somebody and you're like, go have a beer. Okay, it's squash. You don't, sucker punch him, a month later,
Bro, it's the exact same thing that happened with Obama. Not to the Romney wasn't as bad, but Obama and Hillary. Bro, they were at each other's throats. And then he made her the Secretary of State. That's how this stuff works.
And you would always hear how much Obama really hated her, and he went out there and he endorsed her incredibly.
Yeah, so bro, you understand that's the main thing about politics. Politics is useless if you don't get elected. The first part of politics, the most important thing is to get elected to a political position.
However, by any way means necessary. And then you go, hey man, we were both in the same game. We talk shit about each other, and you want to work or you don't. Yeah, that's all there is to it now.
I'm reading here, Obama and Trump talk daily now.
It's almost like,
hey, so here you are.
Let me show you how this stuff works. KG was elected president, right? And you and me had thrown, tried to destroy his credibility, everything.
Right.
He's the president now, but he's offering to work with us. He's like, you know what? I won. You lost. You want to work with me or not? And that's really how it is now.
It's kind of weird. To me, it's like super suspect, man.
Why is it suspect?
That his whole, that was another point of his campaign, was drain the swamp and not have the same old political fat cats that suck the blood out of the people. You know what I mean?
Well, and bro, we could go down.
We could go down.
Let me just say one thing. We could go down the list of presidents since I've been alive, and every single one has made campaign promises they didn't keep or they couldn't keep. You're gonna say what you can to get there, bro. And he's like no other politician we've ever seen. He's a TV reality star, bro. What did you expect?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never thought in my lifetime I'd see that the highest. It's a crazy, bro. It really is surreal. I never ever. I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even in my wildest dreams. I could never imagine that a guy with no political experience whatsoever became president of the United States.
The guy is a casino.
Now The Rock The Rock says he wants to be maybe president one day. Before I would have said, yeah, sure. Now I'm like, yeah, he probably will be.
Yeah, The Rock can totally do it. He can totally win.
Anybody can. That's the thing about it.
The Rock specifically can win.
Well, absolutely.
Right.
But I'll tell you this.
Now everybody can too. He made a very good point. Yeah.
And that's it. Just a little bit of insight, conversation, and exchange of ideas to help shed some light into the dark corners of politics.
Yo, guys, we all have a unique taste, right?
True.
Especially when it comes to comedy. We're all big fans of the comedies. I myself, I'm a big fan of stand-up, British late-night talk shows. And with Seeso, it's your comedy. Get your comedy the way you want it. Boom.
Seeso. It's spelled SEESO, and it's the brand new advertisement-free streaming service that brings you hilarious original series, hand-picked classics, and straight-up weeks of stand-up specials and a lot more. It's bingeable comedy anytime, anywhere. That's Seeso.
You can get every episode of Saturday Night Live ever, including the new episodes the day after they air. I mean, I remember growing up, watching John Belushi as the samurai. One of my favorite skits of all time was the restaurant. Remember the Chee Boogie, Chee Boogie, Chee Boogie, Chee Boogie? Remember that one?
No,
yeah,
remember that? Yeah, right. Chee Boogie, Chee Boogie, Chee Boogie.
Yeah.
Okay,
bro. How about the one guy? This was one of my favorite ones. This is early Saturday Night Live. Remember the guy that wouldn't leave?
The guy that wouldn't leave. They had and there was one frequent flyer. Like the annoying guy he sit next to that knows everything about flying. Bro, how about the old ones before everything became politically correct? The Uncle Buck episodes where he was the perverted babysitter of the young girls and stuff. You can get the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with Seth Meyers the day after they air. And they even have classics like 30 Rock, Parks and Recreation, and Saved by the Bell.
Bro, and I was telling you about those British comedies. They're excellent. The new school or the old school. Like the original Office, that had Ricky Gervais in it. Here they had Steve Carell. tremendous. The whole Monty Python catalog, old school British comedy, incredible. The It Crowd and Steve Coogan as Alan Partridge. Check that out. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
And on the stand-up tip, you could discover all the next big names in comedy. Plus, you could watch all the comedic legends before they made it big, like Disco Inferno. I'm talking about people like Louis C.K. when he had a full head of glorious hair. My man Hannibal Buress, Chelsea Peretti, Amy Schumer, who may or may not have a thing with Chris Jericho's face, Bo Burnham, and so many, many more.
Yeah, when you mentioned me that was very disrespectful, but you can also with Seeso get critically acclaimed originals and exclusive content. And one of their new great shows, it's just an absolutely hysterical concept, is Hidden America with Jonah Ray. Jonah Ray takes you on a comedic journey throughout America on Hidden America, only on Seeso. You know what this is? Hidden America is a fake travel show where the places are real, but the people are not. The critics have confirmed it. Quote, Seeso's new travel show parody is a long-awaited gut punch for every Bourdain addict, unquote. And, quote, the best new televised travel series isn't a real travel series, and it's not on TV. It's Hidden America, and it's on Seeso, unquote.
Yeah, I want to check that show out for sure.
Well, here's the deal, Konnan. Right now, everyone who can hear my voice right now, and that includes you, can try Seeso free for 2 months, 60 days of ha when you use that promo code PODCAST1. That's podcast ONE. Use it at checkout. Just go to Seeso.com, SEESO.com right now. Get your 2 months free with that promo code podcast ONE. Use it at checkout. It's Seeso.com, promo code podcast1.
Yeah,
Get your
and
copy on.
Just remember, Seeso is ad-free, and at just $3.99 per month, that's less than you paid for that latte, that artisan cold brewed coffee you're holding right now.
Because everyone who listens to Keepin' It 100 drinks cold brew artisan coffee.
At least my listeners do.
Hey, this is David Penzer, ring announcer for WCW, and this is Keepin' It 100 with Konnan, one of my favorite people of all time. Speaking of my favorite people of all time, one person that's not my favorite people of all time is the Disco Inferno, who, believe it or not, and I don't know if he'll even still admit to this, wanted to book a wrestler called the Invisible Man. Yes, nobody. He wanted to book nobody and call him the Invisible Man on WCW Monday Night Show, the #1 rated at the time television show on all of cable TV. Enough said. There's nothing more to be said. You're a goof.
What's up, guys? This is Big Rick, FKA Ezekiel Jackson from the WWE, the final ECW champion, a one-time Intercontinental champion, currently representing Brickhouse Pro right up in the Bay Area, in the Peninsula. Right now you're listening to Keepin' It 100 with Konnan, the big dog, the big man, just has done it all. You got KG, one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. I love listening to him talk, love listening, just reading what he posts, just love if I got a chance to meet him. I'm really enjoying his presence. And you got Disco Inferno. Yeah.
We're honored to welcome back a longtime friend of the show, a longtime friend of people on the show before there was a show. I'm talking about one of the groundbreaking pioneers in pro wrestling journalism, one of the most respected, and for some, one of the most hated people out there today. It's an honor to welcome back Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. And Dave and all of us break it down on damn near every aspect of this wrestling business and beyond. So hope you enjoy it. Check out Dave Meltzer weekly in the Wrestling Observer.
You know what I loved about that match? That they had various storylines that they were putting together. They teased a Shield reunion. They kind of like Styles and Ambrose, you know, and maybe again, maybe teasing Jericho and Kevin Owens, which I think is way too soon. I love the fact that Jericho went to pick up his list and got RKO'd.
Yeah.
That was tremendous.
I'll tell you,
the list was possibly destroyed as well.
You know what I think was silly though, kind of is that, bro, I wasn't a fan of them wearing the T-shirts of their teams and stuff.
Agreed.
Especially
it breaks the characters.
Nia Jax, for some reason, it really bothered me. It's just sort of like, you think it like just took away from her aura? She just looked like some silly person that they're making to wear clothes. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, in
good point.
And Bray Wyatt's another one. I think
he wore
it depends on the
t-shirt
character.
the other week.
Right.
But like, yeah, Bray Wyatt in a SmackDown T-shirt. It's like Bray Wyatt should. I mean, I'm not even sure he should be on Team SmackDown to begin with. But you know, I mean, we're going to put him over in it. But yeah, I don't see certain guys shouldn't be wearing the T-shirts.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like Abdullah the Butcher.
Listen, yeah, exactly. It's like almost you're insulting your fan base. Say like, okay, we want you guys to make sure which team is which here. You know, it's like, yeah, this is the blue, this is the SmackDown, this is the Raw, the red and the blue. I'm like, come on, we get it. We watch the shows. You know, we know who these guys are.
People know who's on the team. Yeah.
Right. You know, so Jesus.
Now, let me ask you a question. Obviously, Raw and SmackDown have different writing teams, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Now, is NXT and the Cruiserweights the same writing teams, or do they have different writing teams?
You know, I don't know who's going to be in charge of the Cruiserweights. NXT is a different writing team, though. But I guess I'll ask around on the NXT because the show hasn't started yet. But I believe that the NXT show before was because it was in Full Sail. My gut is not NXT, but I mean the Cruiserweight show. My gut is that it was the NXT team, but I don't know that as a fact.
Who would be the NXT team? Regal and Hunter, or who?
No, Hunter's in charge. I mean, it's like I'm not sure of who the different writers are right now, but you know, that's Hunter's baby, and the Cruiserweights will be Hunter's baby. So yeah, that's his stuff.
Right. Yeah, they've done just a terrible job of character development with those guys.
Well, now the stuff that they've done now is Vince, because that's the Raw writers, and it's just like, yeah, it hasn't been a good fit so far, and hopefully having their own show will help. But you know, it's sometimes I feel like they've made them so. I don't know. It just feels like they send guys out. Nobody knows who they are. They go out there. They do matches. People don't remember who won and lost anyway, and it's just kind of like it comes across as filler.
Yeah, plus too, Vince has never been a fan of smaller guys. Like, you know, that's not his thing. You know, so I mean, and here he is. They're bringing in this collection, like like a whole group of all these small guys, and Vince is probably just look at these guys like, oh, let's just throw them out there. You know, you can tell he doesn't care. You know, the way they're treating these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because nobody's made a star. It's just a bunch of guys to go out there and do stuff. You don't have the focus on this guy. Like they're doing a little bit with Rich Swann, but I mean, you got to even pay attention to see that, hey, they're trying to break Rich Swann out of the pack. I mean, he's just kind of like in the pack still.
Yeah, they should take Kalisto and put him in there with those guys.
Oh, hopefully that's what last night was the start of, is that he ends up with on that show. Yeah.
So what do you think's like one of the big differences of like back in the day when you were watching WWE and today as all these problems that we're seeing? Is it a systemic problem within WWE? Is it, I always hear, well, there's so many shows. Well, then get more writers. They don't seem to have any problem getting the best talent in the world or, trucks to take shit around.
Right. The cameras, the canvases.
Yeah, but I think that one of the problems is that unless you're like, it's your religion or it's your job, it becomes like a second job just keeping up with it. I think that like, most people want pro wrestling to be escape from their life. They don't want it to be the totality of their life.
Right.
And WWE books with the idea that it's the totality of their life. So they get this fan base, and the fans that they got are probably as passionate as any fans at any time. But the casual audience that I grew up with, all my friends they didn't live and die with wrestling, but it was like, they knew who the world champion was. And I think that those type of people, they don't even follow it, and they don't know, they don't know who holds the title. And, their idea of wrestling is still probably, The Rock and Steve Austin, Bill Goldberg, and, things like that, because it's just, when it's 1 hour a week, you make that time and it's easy. When it's 3 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday, that's a chore, unless, it's your religion, so to speak.
Yeah.
They're targeting an audience and alienating another audience. That's what
because in many ways that was one of the problems with WCW when they started doing the 3 hour Nitro and the 2 hour Thunder. In fact, when WWE did that, I go like, I already lived through this before, and I already know what the result is. And you're going to have this period where it'll be okay for a while, and then people are just going to burn out because they see the same guys so much that they're not special anymore.
Yeah. Plus, you got to get a target market of people that are competing. You're competing with football, and you're competing with a lot of good TV shows. It's like, how many hours a week can you donate to watching televised wrestling, in your life, when you got The Walking Dead, you got Monday Night Football, you got, there's a whole, it's weird that like they're kind of ignoring what they're actually competing against, like other television.
Or it's just the world of entertainment.
Yeah. Well, what it is it's short-term money versus long-term popularity, and that's always been the bargain. And everyone in television always takes short-term money. I mean, it's the history of television. In every genre, when something gets hot, everybody copies it, and then all of a sudden they burn it out because, you know what I mean, in the sense of if you devote like there's everyone starts doing the copycat stuff, and then with wrestling, it's like if they had less hours per week, they probably would have a larger audience and grow their audience, but they're making so much money on content that, are you willing to give up $50 million a year to cut back on your hours, or $75 million a year to cut back on your hours? And it's like, when you're a public company, you're not willing to do that. And so we're just kind of in this situation, I see the same thing with UFC, where UFC, if UFC had done, let's just say UFC did 12 shows a year instead of, 45, every UFC show would be huge. But with 45, you burn the audience out, especially as long as those shows are. So you have the same thing.
And you have more injuries.
Yeah, more injuries, and you have more fights with people that nobody knows. But on the flip side, they're making way more money from television, so it's the same situation. That's what it is. You can say the same thing about football. I mean, it's probably better for football not to have so many games per week on television, because their ratings have fallen too. And but they're making so much money off of television that they just let's add Thursday. Let's you know what I mean. Let's double up on this day. So it's like it's just whatever's popular on TV. The TV people are throwing lots of money around because so much TV is a miss. So anything that's a hit is like you just try to put as much of it on and fill as much airtime with it.
Well, plus two, I'll tell you this much: the politics on TV is grabbing like a large portion of the televised audience right now, because you can tell by my social media pages, people I know from sports, people I know from like wrestling and stuff, everything, bro, they're like all into politics now. Like when they tweet and they post and they comment and stuff, everything, like you can just tell like television across the board, wrestling included, especially, is basically we're getting taken by the politics market. Fox News is doing ridiculous numbers, and CNN and everything. It's just like, I think more people are, I don't know. It's like, isn't it weird that like Donald Trump basically, is like the biggest draw on TV right now?
Because he cuts the best promos on TV.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, he's a personality, and without a doubt, this election has hurt everybody, and been a boom to the news channels for sure. Yeah.
Dave, the other day we had Kevin Kleinrock on, and he was talking about when worlds collide, and I was trying to tell KG and DI how rabid the fans were back then. And I remember you telling me that was like one of the most
that was a super show. Yeah,
that was like the most rabid fans you had ever seen. Does that still hold true, or have you found somebody wilder than that LA?
I think that, I mean, I suppose that some of the shows that I've seen from the UK, right, and with a lot of different groups, not just WWE. I mean, even like Revolution Pro, or PWG or something like that, although obviously those are small audiences. There are definitely places that you go where the audience is just like on fire, not in the same way. I mean, the Lucha Libre fans were it's a different kind of passion.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Coney, but like, what percentage of fans in Mexico right now would you say still think wrestling is not fake?
I don't know, not as much as before, that's for sure. But
back when worlds collide. Was going on.
Yeah.
They
thought that was a shoot, right, Dave?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that it's a different kind of passion. Now it's an ironic passion, and then it was a heated passion, if you know what I mean, like the heated reaction. Now, like just the shows like the NXT show over the weekend had great reaction, but everyone was in on the joke, or and the joke's probably not the right word, but everyone was in on it, and we're all into the irony, and we all chant 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. That's not the same thing as watching, what the like a super hot promotion when that was a lot taken more seriously, of course.
Yeah.
Well, plus your UK fan base is a lot more respectful to the product than the United States fan base is, bro. Because you've seen the shows, bro. These fans today will show up strictly just to troll the show, like just to get themselves over. The UK fans have always been. I don't see that in them. I see them show
they hijack a little. They try to get themselves over too. Like with the songs and things like that. It's a different kind though.
The UK fans, like they sing at the games and stuff, everything, so that they go to have fun. I get the feeling sometimes, like on these Raws and some of these pay-per-views, is like the fans show up with like a predetermined, mindset that, hey, we're just going to do whatever we can to get ourselves over. We don't care about this show. And I think that's a difference that I see like the UK shows, because like, bro, they draw better over there.
Well, they draw better because they're not overexposed in the market as far as going. But I mean, but they still like boo the hell out of Roman Reigns just like they do here, and they still do the chants. They do the same kind of chants and everything like that, and the chants to get picked up on. So I mean, I don't really notice that. I mean, there's something to that, but.
But the indie product over there draws better than the indie product over here. That's what I'm saying too. Like you talk about Revolution Pro and stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're out there doing about they can do like 1,100 people a show and everything. Those are loaded up. Those are loaded up awesome shows that do that. I mean, it's not like they do that for everything. But I mean, yeah, if you bring in your Chris Heroes and your like Ricochets and people like that, yeah.
I think the indie scene is very strong right now.
Thanks, as always, to Dave Meltzer for stopping by. We'll be back with more Dave Meltzer next week. To the world, he's Dave Meltzer. To Konnan, he's Dave Gin and Juice and Molly Meltzer. And you can check him out on WrestlingObserver.com and follow Dave Meltzer on Twitter at Dave Meltzer, MELTZERWON. Send him a tweet. Let him know what you thought about the interview. But for your own fragile emotional state, do not ask him any stupid questions, because he will not hesitate to school you in front of the world. Thanks, Dave.
Yo, this was a tremendous show. I want to thank everybody that was on here. Disco, you really got to chill, bro. You banned a lot of segments this week, but hopefully we'll have some of those. Bro, I'm
very deserving. Very deserving. Right? Don't question me on this.
You got heat with Cyrus, with Lance, with Vince Russo, with Maxell, with Broken Matt, with Paul London, with
Mr. Senor Benjamin,
with Hoovy. Come on. I mean,
Shark
it's getting
Boy.
Ridiculous. Shark Boy, that's
You know what I'm thinking of doing? You know what I'm thinking of doing? I'm thinking of doing about this is I should start a list.
Right.
What would I call it?
The disco list.
Wow. That's a great call, Kevin. I'm going to start the disco list. Everybody that gets on my list is going to have hell to pay.
So you're just ripping Jericho's gimmick off.
Well, as ironically, I'm on the Talk is Jericho this week.
Is it true that you went on there to bury me?
No, not bury you.
Oh.
Why would I bury you? Oh, I buried
David.
No. I buried David Penzer in epic fashion. So I think you would appreciate.
Yes, I will appreciate that because he buries you on the drop during the show. Yeah,
right.
Just like Cody Rhodes buried you last week.
Oh, he's on the list too, by the way, Cody Rhodes.
Just like Big Rick from Brickhouse Pro had literally nothing to say about you.
Oh, I'm going to put him on the list then, on the disco list. So you can also catch me at The Real Disco on Twitter. Okay, and also I have my new hot shave is up on @DiscoMasterGG on Instagram, and also you will notice that I will have my my haircut. It's like a double header this week on Instagram. I've got a hot shave, and I've also got a new fresh haircut.
Like a double-headed pimple.
And soon he will be getting
Kevin was very disrespectful right there. That was very disrespectful.
But can I tell people real quick so they know? And soon he'll be getting the watermelon and aqua pedicure.
Okay, well, that's a cheap shot.
Nothing.
I'm also gonna go tread the waters and return on the on the Vince Russo show this week and try and mend the fences there. Right. I'm also going to be at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club this week, all week. If you want to come see me, the rodeo's in town.
Yeah.
Well, you can also catch me at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club. Call 702-303-3430 and we'll send a limo to come pick you up for a free ride and no cover charge, and we'll buy you a drink. And also, if I'm there, do you guys know what do you want to do this part for me and tell the fans what they can get if they come see me at the club?
If you go over there, he will hug you if you are an attractive female,
right,
or transgender.
That's very disrespectful.
If you are a gentleman, he will shake your hand. He will Perel it before and after. What? If you will Perel your hand before and after the handshake, right?
No.
Only after.
Okay, that's very.
Okay, wait a minute. And he will engage in friendly conversation from 1 to 3 minutes, and if you are engaging, he will maybe spread it out to 5, right?
Possibly, yes. If you're cool and you're not loud.
And
the other thing is, since Disco's in a giving mood, he will give pumpkin and mint tea bags. That's only from 12 midnight to 2 in the morning, and only young gentlemen between the ages of 18 and 23.
Okay, that is a total fabrication on your part.
No fat dudes.
Okay, 18 and 24, my bad.
What I will do...
No fat dudes, no gingers.
What I will do is, if you're really cool, I will give you an autograph, not on a napkin. I do have autographed pictures in the club, and I will sign an autograph picture for you.
New secrets revealed.
That's tremendous. Last thing I want to say, bro, before KG...
This is a new thing because it's Christmas, and this is Christmas season, and this is like a Christmas special.
Okay. I just, before KG closes it up, I just real quick. I hope that sometime in the future, hopefully next week, you rally around to Cyrus, because right now it's almost if it were a baseball game, we'd be in the 3rd inning and it's 10-0, Cyrus.
You're crazy.
I expected a Donnybrook, which may be the whitest word I've ever used. I expected a Donnybrook between you guys, and he is just steamrolling you. You need to make a comeback, DI. Kick it, KG.
Yeah, you're in your last hope spot now, Disco.
Okay, well, I don't know how you guys think this is being booked, but I think I'm squashing him.
You're absolutely incorrect. What up, KG?
Well, what's up with me, your boy KG, is I'm staying busy on the podcast front. Just this week, I dropped a new exclusive interview in depth with Paul London, who you know from Lucha Underground and his run with WWE. Fascinating look, very in-depth, very personal. There might even be a few tears shed during this interview. That's up at KevinGillShow.com and iTunes. Last week we had Matt Riddle, who I believe is going to be the biggest star of 2017. And, of course, if you want to get some KG merch or whatever, check out dignifiedbastard.com. And for Keeping It 100 listeners, if you buy any shirt or hoodie, you get a free Juggalo Championship Wrestling DVD autographed by yours truly for absolutely no additional charge. Merry Christmas.
Fancy question.
Oh, and on Twitter, at OG Kevin Gill and at Kevin Gill Show. Like me on Facebook, too.
Well, let me ask you this, Kevin. You said there were tears shed in the interview with you and Paul London?
Yes.
What did you guys do? Did you guys do the interview in a safe place?
It was. I think if you heard it, Disco, you would understand.
Okay, I'm going to listen to it, and I will be reviewing your interview with Paul London.
Wow.
I think.
Yeah, and I'm also going to be reviewing your show too, Konnan, your Crash Wrestling show. I'm going to review.
I might stop being your friend if you're hard on the show.
Yeah, are you one of those fake friends, Disco?
Well, no, I'm just fair, honest, and balanced. And that's what I'm going to be.
Just watch what you say about me.
Well, I look forward to hearing Disco review it. That's what's up. Thank you, Konnan. Thank you, Disco.
All right, man. This has been another episode of Keeping It 100, and I want to thank you guys for listening, for spreading the word, and DIKG, thank you too. Boom.
Super mega props to DRW, Dylan Webster, the man who wrote Ryback's new theme music. It's called Feeding Time, and I recommend you pick it up on iTunes now. Not to mention our friend Peter Melnick from the Audibly Exquisite podcast and Rudo Can't Fail. And last but certainly not least, Mark Colon from the Podcast About Nothing on Twitter at Pan Podcast. Download new episodes of Keeping It 100 with Konnan every Thursday on podcast1.com. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
All right, cut the music. Stop this. Turn that off. Cut it. Okay, you know what? I'm kind of sick of what's going on here. I had to ban Hoovy today. I banned Klein Rock. You guys are like sitting there trying to side with Cyrus. Conan's being a jackass. We always have to go on the out on this music here.
I mean, it is Keeping It 100 with Konnan.
Yeah, but it's stupid because you'd be very disrespectful to me. And, pretty soon, the way things are looking, I might be the guy in charge of the show. So you know who your meal ticket is, Kevin. All right? I want you to play my version of this song.
Your version of Konan's theme music?
You know exactly what it is. Play my version of this song.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Arriba la raza all day and every day. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Oil ole, all day, every day. Lucha Libre to WCW. Canal, the gente, straight up loving you. From the Order SA to the yes, y'all. Who wants to step to my homie K-Dog? Get slammed on the Mac, get your whole head cracked. The way the man will slam vocals, fill the soul track. Step into the ring, yelling Oil ole. From Mexico to the USA, getting stuffed up off the food, get roughed up, kill sunrise, watch them burn. When we finish up the bottle and we eat the worm, it's our turn. Pendletons from the slum to the TV where the world can't see me. Then to get to again, the world don't see it when mothers keep crying cause the children keep dying. Step this hot, we all melt. Can I help the world if I can't help myself? So call it quits and get hit when you get your wig split. Who the hell you think you're dealing with?
Oh, and the award for the Emmy, the best music video on a wrestling show goes to the Disco Inferno.
You got it.
Got it. I told you guys not to play it. You see what you got? Yeah. Finally now, we can say that Konnan has a decent music video. I should be a movie star for crying out loud. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. You've been a great help.
Thanks for being with us.